In early September of this year, Shadow the Hedgehog is going to officially start in his own manga. But before this manga officially comes out, I want to give my own wish list of things that I wish to see in this manga for Shadow the Hedgehog. So without any further ado guys, let's get right into it. Start off, I want a good balance of tone within the story, so I want a good mixture of light-hearted and dark storytelling. Now I know what you guys are thinking. Most Sonic mangas, especially those that were published in the Koro comics, tend to be more on the goofy and fun side, so the possibility of this having a balanced tone is not very high. But if you guys look at the artwork for the Shadow the Hedgehog manga, you can tell that this is not going to be as comedy centric as the past Koro comics that were based on Sonic the Hedgehog. It gives more of a darker and edgier vibe. It's more in line with how Shadow is as a character. So personally for me, I don't think it's going to be another comedy centric series based on the artwork that we've seen so far, and it could also hint at something more complex within the story as well, which I think is a good thing because Shadow himself is a complex character. You know, he's not this simple edgy character that a lot of people like to make him out to be. There is more depth to the character than most people realize. I'm also hoping that the story will also challenge the reader's expectations as well, including myself, because I want this story to have a goal. I want it to make us as the reader question why Shadow is on this journey within the story of this manga, and I want it to have a purpose as well, especially for Shadow's character. Ultimately for me, I want it to be more than just a promotion for the year of Shadow the Hedgehog and the new Shadow Generations game. I want it to involve a story with a well done balanced tone of light-hearted moments and dark storytelling, something along the lines of say Sonic Unleashed. But I also wouldn't mind if it was on the dark side of something like say Sonic and the Black Knight, because I think Black Knight had a really good story. So yeah, I really hope it's not on that comedic light-hearted side, because again, Shadow's not a character that's, you know, based around comedy. So yeah, overall I want the story of this manga to have a good balance between light-hearted and dark storytelling. Okay, so moving on, another thing that I wish to see in this manga is good, consistent artwork and paneling. I want the artwork and the paneling to be high quality. I want it to be just around the same level as manga with good artwork and paneling like My Hero Academia, Fire Force and Vinland Saga. It doesn't have to necessarily surpass those manga in terms of like artistic detail, but I want it to be around that same level. I just want there to be consistency when it comes to the paneling and the artwork. I don't want it to be inconsistent like say with Demon Slayer, where some panels look amazing but then some panels just look absolutely ugly, and just sometimes it just doesn't look right with Kimetsu no Yaiba's manga artwork. But yeah, ultimately I don't want to see that with this Shadow manga. I don't want some panels to look off and then some just look amazing. I don't want that level of inconsistency in this manga, because for me the visuals need to be engaging and immersive, and if it just ends up being super inconsistent like Demon Slayer, then it's just going to take me out of the experience, probably going to take a lot of other Sonic fans out of the experience as well. So yeah, I feel like every panel should draw us in no matter what, just so we can make the story come to life, because no matter how good your story is, the paneling and the artwork has to be on point as well. And when it comes to the fight scenes, they've got to be epic and well drawn, got to be very dynamic, easy to follow as well. I don't like complicated or hard to follow fight scenes in manga, because otherwise it just looks like an absolute mess. We're talking about the kind of action that makes you want to reread those pages over and over again. So yeah, those are the type of fight scenes that I want to see in this Shadow the Hedgehog manga. Next, I want to talk about Shadow's character. I want his character to be written well within this manga. Again, like I mentioned earlier, I don't want to see no goofiness, but I also don't want to see no forced edginess like we saw at times in the Shadow the Hedgehog game, because sometimes they would make him so extremely edgy to the point where it was hard to take Shadow seriously as a character at that point. So yeah, ultimately I think based on how they write Shadow's character, it will either make or break this manga, because again, consistent artwork, paneling and the tone of the story will be important for this manga, but I also think the way they do Shadow's character will be just as, if not more important, because it is going to be centered around Shadow the Hedgehog. So it is crucial that Shadow is portrayed in a cool, calm and collected manner. Again, no forced edginess or over the top emo behavior. That's just not who Shadow is, in my opinion. Look, I'm all for showing Shadow's emotions and his behavior throughout the story. Obviously, I want to see some characterization out of Shadow, but again, just don't go over the top or make him an absolute drama queen when it comes to his behavior in the story. That's just not what I want to see. I do want to see a Shadow who isn't afraid to express himself emotionally, but I also want it to be handled in a way that feels authentic and true to his character, as I'm sure many other Sonic fans would want that as well. He needs to have a clear purpose and motivation that makes us, the readers, invested in his journey. Like I mentioned before, I want this manga to not just again be a promotion for the Year of Shadow or the movie or the new Sonic X Shadow Generations game, but I also want it to make me invested in the story of this manga. Again, I want it to basically make us think, why are we following Shadow in this manga? Like, what challenges is he going to face emotionally, physically, mentally? Like, again, why should we be invested in the story of this manga? That's what I want this manga to make us think when we go into it. I just hope that there's a good driving motivation for Shadow in this manga, and I hope that there will be a great payoff in the end as well when it comes to Shadow's character in this manga. Okay, so the next thing I want to speak about in regards to this manga that I wish to see is, of course, Shadow's abilities. So, as I've mentioned before, I want to see really well drawn fights. But if we're going to get really good fights, then they need to utilize every single one of Shadow's abilities. Most importantly, his Chaos abilities, especially ones like Chaos Control, Chaos Blast, Chaos Snap, and Chaos Spear. So, I want to see Shadow utilizing all of his most powerful abilities during the story of the manga, and I also want to see him use his new Doom powers as well, because they've promoted it just recently for the Sonic X Shadow Generations game, so I think it only makes sense that they show those abilities and those powers in this manga as well. If they don't, then fair enough. I'm sure there'll be a good reason for it. Mainly could be to do with the timeline. Maybe the story in this manga takes place before Sonic X Shadow Generations, so yeah, that could be the reason why they choose not to show the Doom powers, but I would still like to see them regardless, because again, the more we see of them, the better. I also want to see Shadow utilizing all of his powers and abilities in a creative and strategic way when it comes to the fights throughout this manga that we will hopefully see. Another thing I want to see is more lore and world building, especially surrounding Shadow's character. It would be fantastic to see, but only if it adds real value to the story and Shadow as a character. But yeah, like I mentioned, again, the lore and world building that they add to this manga in regards to Shadow's character and the overall Sonic universe should enhance our understanding of Shadow and the world that he inhabits, rather than just being filler. So yeah, again, I really hope that they utilize all of Shadow's abilities throughout this manga, and I really hope that they do a good job of adding more lore and world building surrounding his character in the manga. And the final thing that I hope to see in this manga would be some appearances from other key characters like Rouge, Omega, and even Gun agents, because as we all know, they are major characters within Shadow's story. So I hope we get some key appearances from these characters. Heck, I wouldn't even mind some cameos from other Sonic characters too, including Sonic himself. That would be really cool to see. As long as they fit into the story organically, then I do not mind seeing them. These characters could add depth and variety to the plot as well. So again, if they decide to add in Rouge and Omega to the story alongside Shadow, then I am all for it. It would make the world feel more interconnected and alive. So yeah, ultimately I hope to see some supporting characters for Shadow on his journey in this manga, and again, I'm all for some character cameos too. That would be really cool to see. And ultimately that does it for my wish list on what I want to see in the Shadow the Hedgehog manga. There are bound to be some points that you disagree with in this video, so be sure to let me know your gripes with it down in the comment section below. And also please let me know what you hope to see in the Shadow the Hedgehog manga as well. Also, if you found this video to be very enjoyable or informative, then please be sure to hit the like button. And if you want to see more Sonic content or any more anime and manga content from me, then please be sure to subscribe and hit the bell. This is your boy MAMZYY signing out. Thank you so much for watching. Take care and peace.